Welcome back to the podcast.
I could have did the introduction.
Our
Welcome to the
headset.
Austin and Nick podcast, Professor Humphrey. Today we're going to be talking about bicycle thieves. Our headsets are not working, so when you see this,
Someone needs
you
to
know how
fix
it
this.
sounds. Yeah, somebody needs to fix this. Today we're going to be talking about some of the issues and if we like the movie Bicycle Thieves by who's it directed by? You know. Okay. We're going to be talking about culture, poverty, a little bit of religion, kind of. There was a little religion scene in there. And then
Neorealist.
Neorealism. Neorealist or neorealism?
Neorealism.
Neorealism.
Structural realism.
Nick thinks the word's funny.
I don't think the word's funny.
But today we start off with this man named Antonio, which we don't really find out his name until like halfway in the movie, which was a very interesting technique used by the director. I thought he should have been named earlier on, but that's just my opinion.
The feeling that I got, having when this movie had been made, right after World War II, right? The idea was to capture what it was like to be an Italian person in these cities where, like, in inner cities, urban areas, where you are just a number. You are not seen as anything other than just another commoner that's trying to get by these impoverished conditions, these harsh conditions that have been, culminated from. No, because this doesn't go in. We're going off a laptop audio right now.
Oh.
Yeah. The mics don't work either. Yeah, exactly.
I was talking to this thing.
Whatever. It's still gonna capture it. Yeah. So they're trying to get by through these harsh conditions, and all they are is just another person, and then like the simple jobs. I mean, most jobs.
Yeah, Antonio was given the job. Like, he didn't have a job at the beginning, and then he was offered a job if he could get a bike, and then he had to go sell his bed sheets to pay for his bike to get repaired and give it back to him. Then he starts doing this job. Guess what he's doing? Putting up some lady's picture.
Exactly.
Poster. I think it was. It kind of looked like Marilyn Monroe, but I don't know.
That's American culture. But the fact is that this movie was not meant to like put shame to like what it was like down there. It was meant to highlight really kind of like the culture, the social economic harsh adversities that had been experienced in that time, because other countries weren't having the same issues that Italy was having post World War II. So they wanted to like show the little nuances and everything that this and by doing so, they did this to you talk about the character not being named till halfway through. Talk about there only being a couple main, like two
I think there was
main,
four or five characters, and the two characters were the lady at the end of the hall, or the mother, the old man, and then his wife's name, which I don't remember.
Marie or something.
Bruno.
I think it's Marie.
Marie, Bruno, Antonio.
Yeah,
that was their family.
What you'll notice is like there's a almost like a very contradictory like moment moments in which when he's in the crowd he looks just like another commoner, even though he's supposed to be this protagonist. But then at the same time, it has like the shine on him. Like that's what I'm saying. Is like then he has like a little shine on him. Like you can kind of like it kind of highlights him. I mean, it keeps him in the middle like of each scene. But like most of the scenes, it's like he just looks like another guy trying to get by.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Battleship. The movie we watched.
Battleship. Yeah.
Battleship Baltic.
Potemkin.
Yeah. That was a fun movie. We did a podcast on that.
That was our first one.
If you want to go watch it.
But that's why I like these movies in black and white, because
You like them?
these last couple, yeah.
No. Not my favorite. Not my favorite.
I know. Black
To
and white.
also go off the culture, when the man Antonio was looking for his bike, there was little tidbits of mafia going on.
Yeah,
So this boy, like, couldn't have been older than 25. So I consider him a boy.
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely stole this man's bike. Definitely stole it.
Right.
Like, there was without a doubt. And he confronts him about it. And Antonio's in a neighborhood that he's an outsider in.
Right.
And he just gets ganged up on by all these people being like, this boy has a clean record. He'd never do that. And then the mom of the boy starts yelling out the window, my boy's never done anything wrong. My boy's never done anything wrong. And then this whole town is just getting on this man. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a mob.
I mean, shows you how, like, whenever your society kind of destroys itself, not like destroys itself, but like kind of like starts to tear apart, because it didn't destroy itself. Like the World War II obviously destroyed the society.
Fascism.
The society's falling apart, so what happens is you start groups within that society start to rise, and then you get like and then that's how you get gangs, and that's how you get like mafias. I mean, that's what people trying to, like, they understand that the society now is weak and has so many weak points to where you can now create loopholes within the society and and pretty much take advantage of the weak society that is in place in these Italian cities.
What do you think of the boy's Bruno's relationship with Antonio?
This is very much a father-son like bonding like thing. Like, I think a lot of what it really tries to say is like, even whenever they're like children kind of see their parents in like in the lowest of lows, they still look at them like, ever you think about it, like how a lot of kids look at their like parents as superheroes. You know what I'm talking about? Like you think your parents can only do they can do so well. But like he's seeing his dad at the lowest of low. He looks at him as like a superhero because he sees him in all these moments, all these bad moments that he's creating throughout the movie, and all these like adversities and troubles that he's experiencing. And he sees all of this, and yet he still looks up to him as this father figure, even when we saw him do some pretty questionable things, right?
I thought it was an anti-bonding movie. I thought the father was very neglectful. Like, for the one example, his son fell down. And Antonio didn't even realize it happened.
Yeah.
And he goes, "What's wrong with you?" And he goes, "I fell over there."
But like, I feel like that was at the same time, like it was hard for them to foster relationships with their kids like we can now today, because of that culture, because of like how Italian families are like how you're risen up out of your family, like it just was like a norm back in the day, like back in the 1940s.
Yeah, but I don't think that's right.
I know we don't think it's right.
And I think that's what they were trying to show.
That's why it's neorealism. I mean, it's just like,
I think it was an anti-bonding movie.
Yeah.
That like, if you continue down this path, like you're always going to be in poverty. Because the younger generation is going to follow in your footsteps. And then at the end of the movie, well, first off, the boy fell.
Following your footsteps like that.
The boy fell. Father didn't notice. Then a kid supposedly is drowning in the lake, and Antonio has no idea where his son's at. So he thinks his son drowned.
Right.
So then he finally sees him up on the bridge, and he's like smirking at him because he's like, "It's not me."
It's not me.
And then at the beginning of the movie, he just leaves him at work for like a whole work day. Like, at least that'd be 8 to 10
Well,
hours.
that shows like, I mean, there's obviously neglect there.
Yeah, it was very neglectful and anti-bonding. Like, they didn't do They
No,
didn't do a
yeah,
lot of
and I know
talking. The
it
only
was
bonding
weird.
moment they had was in the restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
and you could tell the father had to spend a lot of time with his son because his father was able to use like silverware, and the kid wasn't.
Right.
The kid was struggling, and the dad didn't even help him. The kid just had to learn on his own to pick it up and eat it.
Mm.
It was very weird.
But do you think like throughout the movie, he kind of developed towards like wanting to be there for his kid, like wanting to.
The only yes,
Okay.
but it wasn't at the very end until the dad hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And then he tried to steal a bike, and these Italian guys grabbed him and be like, "You're getting let off easy. You're not going to jail, but you need to be a better example for your son."
Ah, yeah.
And that's the first time he touches his son, and he actually holds his hand while he's walking down the street.
And this is kind of what the issue is there's so much going on around you in this environment, so where your mind you're so oblivious to like the smaller things that you need to worry about, and we see that throughout the movie he's neglecting his child that is following in his footsteps, that will like you said, he will be following his footsteps metaphorically, and he was physically or literally, but metaphorically, like he will be following in his footsteps. So you need to be able to be there for your kid and make sure that he goes the right path, because he's seeing a path that you shouldn't go, right? And it takes till the end of the movie for him to realize, like, hey, like they're like I'm neglecting my child, like because he's so oblivious to it because there's so much other stuff going around him that he's worried about job, getting his bike back. Like it's just like he doesn't
Do you like the movie?
Yeah, I do. It's definitely one of the top movies.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Is it a not appreciate, or I appreciate it but I don't like it?
I appreciate the movie. I appreciate all the messages, but I just don't. I didn't like watching it. It didn't bring me. It didn't bring enjoyment. It didn't. I mean, it taught me a lesson. It definitely taught me a lesson.
Well, that's the art of neorealism.
But it's definitely something I would not want to watch again, and I wouldn't suggest to people.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I feel like there's other. I've seen other movies that also relay that message with more enjoyable aspects.
Well, in lieu of reading, things about this movie, there was a lot of criticism at the time, but as time persisted, people started to.
I bet you when this movie came out, it was hated.
Exactly. So.
Especially with the dynamic of the world.
It really is like more of like a. You don't watch it to enjoy. It's more of a watch to appreciate. And like as much as we look at movies and look at them for their whole purpose, the whole premise of the movie is to entertain. But at the end of the day, it can be the director's choice to have their own type of purpose, and maybe the purpose here is not really to entertain. It's more to send a message. What's it called? Generate a concept that the viewers can try and and then they could. I mean, there could be something more, secretive to this movie that we don't see necessarily on the first glance.
I mean, that's what I mean. If I were to rewatch it, I'd probably watch it more in depth.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there was a lot of niche stuff that I probably just neglected. Overlooked. And also, I was also reading the subtitles. But now that I kind of know the story, I wouldn't have to read the subtitles as much, and I could actually watch the characters and how they interacted with everything.
Yeah. A lot of these movies nowadays throw a bunch of visual effects into our face and say, here's a movie.
I love it.
Yeah, exactly, because it's entertaining and it's eye candy. It's very inducing. I mean, it keeps your eyes attached to the screen. Whereas like this movie, it could be so easy to kind of stray away because it's not necessarily entertaining, and it's also not you know, optimistic.
Yeah.
It's more.
I also hated the like.
But that's the
Well,
point
if
of
you
realism.
consider him a protagonist, I don't.
Yeah.
I didn't consider Antonio a protagonist. I know he was the main character
Yeah,
in the movie, but I don't think
very
he.
loose
I don't
term.
think he was a very
Protagonist is a loose
positive.
term.
I don't think he was a very positive character that I can look up to.
Right.
So
See,
that's
the kind of
not a
where people look at
protagonist to me.
protagonists for. Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't say he was an antagonist either.
no, definitely not.
I think he was just like normal. Like he made very.
And that's
very
what we were
normal
saying
things.
is like that's the point of the movie is like a lot of these people were just a number. They were just like living to live. Like they were trying to work. They were working to live because they had no other way else.
Yeah.
To like experience life because this is the environment in which they were encapsulated. Like,
well, what is life?
that's the point of neorealism.
I feel like I do that now.
Whole point of neorealism, and that's what this movie's getting at. And like, is neorealism supposed to be entertaining? No. It's life.
No, it's not.
Sometimes life isn't entertaining as much as you would like it to be.
I try to make life. That's what you can do, right?
But there's only so much you can do with almost what capabilities you have as a person. And I guess that's what this movie is trying to.
My mom told me I'm capable of anything. Don't discredit my mom.
And that's the point of other movies. They make you think everything is capable. They make you think anything can be done.
You're a very pessimistic person.
Oh my god, or am I just realist? See, like
no, you're pessimistic. Glass half empty. That's what you are.
That's what this movie is, bro.
Yeah,
That's what this movie is. This movie is a glass
really
half empty movie. This movie is a glass half, whereas all the other like modern movies are glass half full. Am I wrong about
that? Okay. Okay.
You're supposed to appreciate that. You're supposed to appreciate that this movie is highlighting the horrible political struggles.
But I still think it's a shit movie. I appreciate the message.
Wait, what does that mean?
I appreciate the message. I won't say I enjoyed watching it. It's like reading a book for class. Like you don't want to do it, but you still do it to get a good grade.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watched this to understand.
So is that you with this movie?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna be honest.
There you go, Humphrey.
Sorry, Humphrey. I watched this movie because you assigned it. I would not have picked because I read the bio of the movie and I was like, his bike got stolen.
That's what the point of the whole movie is. The plot is simplistic because their lives are simplistic.
I understand their lives are simplistic, but I felt like it hit too close to home because my life is very simplistic.
No,
I don't want to turn out like that, dude.
No, well, there's your optimistic value.
Did you like not having characters?
Yeah,
I know you said they were just like numbers in the society.
Yeah, I mean they are characters at the end of the day, but
they're humans. They're humans.
I think the
Do
way
you think they do not deserve names.
Oh. You know, I think at the end of the day,
be wise with your answer.
You need some names, for a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to have some names. I think that's what it kind of boiled down to. Like, they didn't want to have a movie without names. It's like one of the four pillars of movies. Like, you gotta have a cast. Like, you have to have characters in your movie.
Do you? Do you have to have character names to have a good movie?
Yeah, because then how are people with the best movies that you can think of in our era? What has stuck out to you? Like, usually people just fan fave over the characters and the acting.
Personally, fighting and action scenes.
Okay, and those don't always have
So say you have two armies just going at it.
Mm-hmm.
As long as there's some context around the battle and why it's happening, I don't think you specifically need character names in there.
But with action movies, to contradict what you're saying, don't you want that I'm rooting for this character to just go bang bang,
No, I'm more rooting for the overall message. Like what I deem as ethically good and what is ethically wrong. I want the good side to win, obviously.
Okay.
In this movie, there's really no good. There's no one true good character in this movie. So I personally could say I think they could have went the whole movie without saying names. And just used descriptions.
Now,
like they did with the old man, like they did with the
here's the problem with that though. Weren't you not rooting for that guy to start off?
Antonio?
Yeah.
No.
No, from the beginning you truly didn't care about him. You didn't have any.
I didn't know anything about him.
You don't have to know.
I just know he was a poor dude in Italy. That was it.
I agree. Like it's nice to have some context and understand like what this character's been through or what they're about to be through or go through. But I feel like.
And at the beginning of the movie, I didn't like any of his actions. I didn't like leaving his kid at the gas station to work for 8-10 hours. I also didn't like that he wasn't aware that his kid. Anytime his kid would leave him, he would just yell at him. He wouldn't even go get him. He would just yell at him. Come back here. Hey, come back here. Where are you going? What are you doing? He's not even like going after him. Mm. He's not making an effort to teach him anything. He didn't teach him a single thing in that whole entire movie.
Now, was it
That's a father's job.
Yeah, was it a lack of parenting or was it more out of his heart?
I don't know what it was.
Ignorant? Is it more ignorance or is it more like lack of heart?
Either way, it's bad.
But
those are both very negative words.
But with how bad the society is within the movie,
there still can be good and bad
that
societies.
Time period. There can still be good, but like, how can you develop into being good if there's no structure behind you keeping you? This is what I'm saying. Is like in this society.
Well, obviously the father knew right from wrong, because at the very end of the movie, when he was contemplating stealing the bike, because he could have just did it in an instant, but he processed it. There was a lot of close-up shots that he was intensely thinking about what his next steps were, to if he should, or the consequences of his actions if he were to steal the bike.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Is like,
and he didn't teach that to his kid.
No, he didn't. But he shouldn't.
And the only time he really showed affection was when he thought his son died.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
So the only time that you show affection to your kid is if you think his life's threatened. I think that's bad. I think that's bad parenting.
That's a norm.
Yeah, but do you think that's right?
No. But like at the point.
So can you get attached? Why do you need a name attached to the character?
It is if you're not going to be attached to the character. All it is its symbolism, where he's basically the country.
I get that, but I don't see the significance.
This is the country in a man. This is in a country in a man. This is a country in its man. A country that's been, first of all,
there was only
hundreds of years ago, 100 years prior to this, the country had been divided in itself for years. Never true backbone. Like it was always divided. People were over political views, political goals, right? And they never had a true like power. Never like it was all different types of people, and it's kind of what it shows about this country. Like, or in this movie, like he's the country in a sense that like it's never had a true like ambition or true affection for its people. Like he never had a true affection for his kid, like you just said. But he's just been trying to mosey around, like trying to get through life, because it just seems like it's at the lowest of low. Like Italy had been for years historically. It had been at low. They just had no, like, it wasn't united. It like everything had seemed like there was nowhere to go. And then you had guys like Garibaldi and I can't remember the other Italian unifier, but like, you know, when 1861 when they ultimately unify, country actually becomes more, unified. They become more like a people, like a nationalist, like beliefs. They become more of a people. But like with him, he doesn't develop into that. He's more egotistical. Like in the sense that he's just worried about his own.
I wouldn't say egotistical.
Well, like
he's just more survival.
He's more survival like that, and that's what. At what point should you be more about yourself and selfless?
When you have a kid.
When you have a kid there. See, but like, at what
you don't
point,
think your job as a father is to protect,
provide, right?
Teach
no, it is
your son what to do.
But those,
and he didn't do that for a bonding movie, a boy and father bonding movie. It was not.
It kind of shows that these people don't have the base of Haslow's hierarchy of needs. Like they're at the base of Haslow's hierarchy.
But obviously, that man, Antonio, had a moral background. He knew what was right. He knew what was wrong.
Mm.
And for him not to teach his son anything, his son didn't even know how to use silverware to eat.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. A lot of misdirection, like just not knowing where to go.
Not knowing where to go, and then he turned to religion. Religion kicked him out. They basically just took his money and then he left.
Well, that was the whole thing itself. But no, like is it more?
You like this
unethical?
Movie?
Yeah, because
I can't believe that's just mind-boggling.
Because it's because it's an experience that I'm not used to. You're not used to. Well, I mean, I can't speak for you, but it's an experience in which I'm sorry, I can't speak for you, but it's an experience in which this person is going through something that a lot of people in that time period were going through, right? And he has no direction. Like he doesn't know what to do, and he's just like getting to the lowest of literal low, to the point where he's making bad decisions.
But he never asked anybody for help.
Exactly. He's so lost. He's so lost in the sauce, right? He's so lost. He doesn't know, like what's the smartest thing to do here? And that kind of like highlights how a lot of people think. A lot of people are like, just like so.
Why
not
ask for guidance or direction? His son doesn't either.
That'd be boring.
His son doesn't either. So this constant cycle is just going to keep happening.
Exactly. That is exactly what the movie's highlighting.
I get that.
Said that. Following his footsteps.
I get that.
They're just going to keep following their footsteps.
What? Okay. Go back to the name. What's the significance of the name? I don't think you need to give that character a name.
You do.
I think he could have just been Man 1 the whole movie.
Man 1.
And it would not have been any different.
Huh. You had to get some really Italian names in there too.
And then Boy 1.
Man, that's what they do for a lot of plays. And sometimes with the main characters.
I know.
Old style plays.
My opinion. I didn't like the movie. I liked the message. I give it a 6. 6 out of 10. Maybe 5.
Hold on.
Maybe 5.
Did you think it was ethically correct? Do you think it's ethically, like in general, not was, if it is it ethically correct to steal when you are at the lowest of lows? No. Why do you say that? Is it morally correct to steal when you have just ate it? You can only go.
Because it's just. You should be stealing to prolong your survival.
That's what he was doing.
He was not. He was stealing for material. The keys you need for survival are food, water, shelter.
But he's associating that material with his survival.
He's associating with money.
Exactly.
Because that's
money
what
equals survival. Yeah, exactly. Society is so fond of.
But here's my thing. I don't think society should be run by money.
But it was, especially at this time when they had no money.
I know, but I'm saying
the country itself didn't have money.
Right now,
they lost it all.
Right now, throughout history, I think money has been the root of all problems.
I would like to see this movie in Germany, 1946.
Why 46?
World War II. I don't care. Like
It's after
sometime
World
after
War
World War II,
That's after.
when
Actually,
they were
no, that's
printing
during.
money out,
That's during World War
throwing
II.
money in fire. and
That's
stuff.
during World War II. I'm pretty sure World War II didn't end until 49.
No, it ended in 45.
What?
It went from 1939 to 1945. September 1st, 1939, with the Blitzkrieg with Poland, and then ended in 1945.
How do you know
What?
that? September 2nd, 19. What the?
So
You definitely looked it up before this.
I just know dates, bro. Chill out. World War II dates, World War I date, like.
What do you rate the movie?
The movie? Gosh. Appreciation. Okay. From an entertainment level.
0.
6.
0.
From a
What was
appreciation.
entertaining about that movie? Give me one. I couldn't even name one scene that was entertaining.
The realism of it, man. Just like showing like it's just you become so infatuated with how realistic it feels and how like
How
this
does
is
that
really
feel realistic?
happening.
You've never experienced that. You don't know what that feels
That's
like.
the point. You get to
That's
experience
the
something
point.
else that you have never experienced. That's
How
the
do you know
whole
if it's
point of
even
that.
true?
You know it's not true. That's what makes it better. No, because they are replicating something that happened. Well, actually, when the movie was made, when the time period is on, but you are experiencing something that somebody else could have experienced at some point in this time period,
Sure.
right? Like something very similar to it. But again, it's supposed to be a movie that's showing a simplistic plot based on how a lot of people's lives were going on back in that time period. Like a lot of people were having these similar issues.
What do you rate it?
A 9.6.